one thing that I like about FL Studio is that it gives us some... So there's things that I like and there's things that I dislike about FL Studio when it comes to automation. And I will show you why. Because it's like FL Studio can be a little bit easy to do automation, but it can also make your life very hard to do automation. So let's jump into FL Studio so that I can show you what I mean. Let's bring here, let's see, what can I do? Maybe a 3x oscillator. Yeah, let's do this and then let's automate here the pitch. So let's go like this. Let's bring a single note here. Maybe let's go with a lower note, a bass note here. So let's say that I have this playing constantly. Let's actually make this bigger. So this is always playing. And let's say that I want to automate the pitch of this sine wave. What I can do is go here, right click and create automation clip. And if I jump into the playlist, now I have an automation clip for my pattern here. So let's bring this down. Let's close this. Let's bring the oscillator like this. And let's focus on this part here. Okay, let's make this a little bit larger. So this is the way you can create automation. And as you can see here, if I show you the 3x oscillator, this goes from 0 to 48. And right now we are here at, could this be 25%? I guess 25 and then 50, 75 and then 0 and 100. So if I go here and if I see, as you can see, if I hover this point here, we can see here in the hint panel that this is 25%. So let's say now that I want to go to 50%, which is the 12 or 1 octave higher. What I can do is right click, create a new point, and then go for 50 like so. And then I can create another point and then move this around until I get 50. So now if I go down again, let's go to 25. Let's do that again. 25. And then do this again. So this, as you can see, it's a little bit harder and time consuming to just go and try to really match the exact points. But if I play this now in the playlist, and by the way, let me disable all the other oscillators so that we just have one. So we just have one note and then we automated the pitch. And if I show you the 3x oscillator, this will be moving by itself according to the automation that we just added. So let's say that now I know that I just want to go from 25 to 50. How can I make this my life easier? You can control your parameters with automation by, if you double click on the automation itself, you will get a channel window like this. And as you can see, we can create LFO, but we can also set here the minimum and maximum. So let's say that I just want to go from 25 to 50. That's the amount that I want to do. And what you could do is put here 25 and put here the maximum 50. Like so. And what would happen in this case, I would just have to go from 0 to here, because what I'm doing is limiting the range. So instead of being 0 to 100, now is 25 to 50. So if I play this again, we have the same effect. So if I now, let me make this window a little bit smaller so that I can show you everything that I'm talking about. And let's open also the 3x oscillator and the automation here. So as you can see, I managed to change the minimum and maximum values. And as you can see, this, instead of going from 0 to 100, or the automation, instead of going from 0 to 100, now it goes from the minimum to the maximum, which is 25 to 50. And this helps me to do a little bit more control, have more control over the automation or the values of the automation, and make this automation a little bit easier to draw and a little bit easier to manage. As you can see, it goes from 12 to 24 as before. And now let's say that I want to go, let's say I want to go to 75. So in my automation, instead of then going into every single point and put it at 75, now I can just move one single knob and it will adjust everything. So if I play now, you see that now it goes to 36, which is 2 octaves higher. And let's say that I now want to go, for instance, to just 40. So this is a way for you to control your automation, to have a little bit more control over your automation and how you draw the parameters. So if you know that you might change all the parameters, you could go with minimum and maximum, and this can really speed up your changes in your project. And by knowing this, you can have a little bit more control over your automation, because sometimes it's a little bit hard to manage the exact point that you want, because you have to see here in the hint panel, you have to see the exact value, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time just to go there to the exact point. But if you know that you want to go from 25% to 50%, then you can set the minimum and maximum and then just play around with the volumes here, and you know that you will always be inside of the range that you want. And this is something that it really helped me in my with my automations, because it really helped me to control the range of the automation and make it easier for me to automate my parameters a little bit more precisely. And that's the thing about FL Studio. It has some really cool things about. This is the only tool that I see this feature. I don't see the other tools having, like Studio One or Ableton. I've never seen this feature, so this is the only DAW that I think it provides this feature. And again, this is one of the reasons why I love FL Studio.